even forgotten to record my session. You are saying, Tony, he's not around?
Actually, he isn't around, but he was here yesterday.
Okay. Okay.
Now, this is Group J.
Yes.
And those are my fellows.
Mm-hmm.
We were given questions to choose any research concept on the three. We decided to choose, we chose the Orison and Myers 1999 information technology. We went ahead to make a study or analysis on the Orison and Myers research. The first question was, what was the research problem? Actually, research refers to a synthetic investigation, study of materials and resources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. The first question was, what was the problem? Actually, according to our findings, we managed to agree that from the introduction, there was the research problem that states a research problem. Actually, a research problem is a statement about an area of concern, a condition to be improved, or a difficulty to be eliminated. Following our Orison and Myers research, we found out that their research problem was understanding how emerging technologies such as groupware products and the internet offer the potential to dramatically improve the way how people communicate and collaborate in the organization of the 21st century. We went ahead to question 2. What research had been done by others regarding the problem? Actually, we found that the IS researchers, one of the researchers that had did the same research, the IS researchers have pointed out that social and cultural context of an organization has a profound influence on the way it is used. For example, the 1993 Myers, 1990 World Champ, 1993 and 1995. The example of groupware software are computer-supported cooperative work, group support systems. Many researchers ask about the role of technology in organizations, determine the choice of theories or methods while carrying out the research. This causes many researchers to identify research problems as group weakness rather than individual ones. The concept is backed by the Santos 1993 individualism theory. Technology has no effect on how work is collaborated in any working environment. Meaning, both man and technology have no impact on the way we interact with each other. Olico saturation theory that suggests that man shapes the world he lives in, as it concretely shapes him too. We went ahead and discussed number 3. What gap do they identify from the research have done? They identify the most previous research has been the most previous research that was done using laboratory experimental results in artificial setups. Hence, the results from these researches were questionable. For example, the most research stated that technology has a positive effect on workplaces, which wasn't their finding. We went ahead. How did they solve all tackle the research problem? Maybe Vincent, my colleague, can continue from there.
Okay, thank you. How did they solve or tackle the research problem? That was the question. They used phases. For example, first phase is diagnosing the primary problems that are to be addressed. The second phase was action planning. It specifies the organizational actions to release or address these problems. The third phase was called action, taking implementation, implements the planned actions. In our findings, still the fourth phase was about the evolution. This includes analyzing whether the planned actions achieved their intended effects. Instead of using an experimental method, they chose to use an action research method, which enabled them to work within the organization and intervene in the research solutions situation. While collecting data and information, this allowed them to produce first-hand results from the research. They used a cycle of 5 stages, for example, diagnosing, planning, action taking, evaluation, and specifying, learning described by Sussman and Evans in 1978. Diagnosed the problem which was the too much collaborating meetings with managers was also a good ahead towards their research making. Furthermore, another question was, what were the results of their research? According to an action research project failed. That is, they established that despite the fact that the workers in this specific organization needed the change, that the technology would bring this group where a software was needed to change. Software was implemented. It did not bring about the intended results because some traditional behaviors within the institution that hindered dramatic changes in work habits. Hence, the technology didn't serve its intended purpose. In our next question was, what was their research approach? What research methods and tools did they use? They used the action research method. This kind of research method allows the researchers to work within the organization. They are using a sample space for their research. This allows them to intervene towards the research problems while collecting data and information. They implemented this action research cycle tool while they put into practice its 5. Diagonizing. At this stage, you identify the problem that needs to be addressed. Action planning. At this stage, you make decisions on how you solve the problem. Action planning. At this stage, all the decisions you make are put into action. And then the evaluation. Once the project is underway, you have to find out at this stage. Specifying learning. Whichever analysis was made at the evaluation stage, it is done at this point. Thanks for listening to me, and that was our output.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. So, any points for discussion? We have any points for discussion? Now, there's something I wanted us to do. I wanted us to have a session where we go through each of the 3 articles one by one. And for me to do that, I would request each one of you to read these 3 articles. After you've read them, I'm going to discuss one by one each article and point out the research problem, the research gap that they pointed out, the research gap and the research problem. I'm going to point out their methods, the tools they use, the approach, and so on and so forth. Is that agreeable to you?
Yes.
Okay, so I would request each one of you individually to read this work so that I discuss this and we may see where we may have gone, where we went right and where we may have gone wrong.
Madam, you're not getting it.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now we are getting it.
Okay, sorry, there might be a problem with the MTN here. So what I'm saying is each one of you go and download these 3 articles and read through. In our next session, I'm going to go through each of the 3 articles and point out what the research problem was, where the research gap was, the research gap they identified and how they developed their research problem or stated their research problem. I'm going to point out their research methods their research approach, and their research tools. Is that okay?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, the point is, as we discussed, I want us to, some of the most important things is to, by the time I release the students, for all of you to know what a research problem is. A research problem is not the same as everyday problems. They are quite different. So I would like us to understand this. I don't know if all of you saw my post on the WhatsApp group. The Nkozi groups were a bit many. I couldn't listen to all the groups. So we're going to have another session tomorrow from 2:30 to 4. So if you would like to join and listen, you're most welcome.
Actually, madam,
Yes,
for the
please.
sake of tomorrow, Thursday, we have fixed somewhere from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
We have some lectures.
Okay, no problem. But thank you for giving for the effort and time.